There is a place on Earth where compasses spin, where the ocean swallows ships without a trace, and where aircraft vanish from radar as if plucked from the sky. Stretching across the waters between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, this region is known by a name that stirs both fear and fascination: the Bermuda Triangle. For centuries, sailors, pilots, and adventurers have whispered about this patch of ocean. Some call it cursed, others claim it's a portal to another dimension, and many scientists argue it's nothing more than myth, amplified by human imagination and a thirst for mystery. But why does the Bermuda Triangle continue to capture our imagination? Is it truly dangerous, or is its reputation the result of coincidence, exaggeration, and storytelling? Tonight, we dive deep into history, science, folklore, and the strange stories of missing vessels to uncover the truth about one of the greatest mysteries of the modern world. What is the Bermuda Triangle? Imagine a triangle drawn on a map. Its corners at Miami, Florida, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the island of Bermuda. Within these boundaries lies a vast area of the North Atlantic Ocean, about 500,000 to 600,000 square miles of open sea. That's larger than the entire country of France, or about half the size of India. The region is heavily traveled. Commercial shipping routes pass through it daily. Planes fly over it on their way from North America to the Caribbean and South America. Cruise liners crisscross its turquoise waters, carrying millions of passengers each year. And yet, despite being one of the most trafficked maritime zones in the world, the Bermuda Triangle is known not for the journeys completed, but for those that seemingly never returned. The waters here can be unpredictable. Sudden storms can sweep in from the Atlantic. The Gulf Stream, a powerful ocean current, races through, capable of carrying wreckage far from its source. Deep trenches plunge miles beneath the waves, including the Puerto Rico Trench, the deepest point in the Atlantic Ocean. All of this creates a natural environment where navigation is difficult, survival in emergencies is slim, and recovery of wreckage is nearly impossible. But do these natural dangers explain the legends? Or is there something more sinister lurking beneath the waves? Early encounters. The legend of the Bermuda Triangle stretches back further than most people realize. In fact, the very first recorded voyage through the region carries an ominous note. When Christopher Columbus sailed through the waters on his first journey to the New World in 1492, he reported strange phenomena: a great flame of fire falling into the sea, lights appearing in the distance, and erratic behavior in his ship's compass. To Columbus, a deeply religious man, such events were both wondrous and terrifying. Later, historians would suggest more rational explanations. The, quote, flame of fire could have been a meteor, the distant lights, perhaps from fires set by the indigenous people on nearby islands, the compass variation, simply the natural difference between true north and magnetic north, especially pronounced in this region of the Earth. Still, Columbus's notes set the tone. This was a place where the ordinary rules of nature seemed to bend. The age of sail. In the centuries that followed, the waters of the Bermuda Triangle became a vital corridor for European empires transporting goods, slaves, and treasure. But they were also treacherous. Hurricanes swept across the Atlantic with devastating force. Wooden ships, poorly mapped shoals, and primitive navigation often led to disaster. Countless vessels vanished without record, their crews lost forever. Stories spread among sailors. Some claimed ghost ships haunted the waters. Others whispered of sea monsters, whirlpools, and cursed islands. By the 18th and 19th centuries, the Bermuda Triangle already had a dark reputation among mariners. But the Bermuda Triangle, as we know it today, a clearly defined mystery zone, didn't fully emerge until the mid-20th century. In 1950, a journalist named Edward Van Winkle Jones published an article in the Miami Herald describing a series of strange disappearances in the region. His tone was dramatic, suggesting that something unusual was happening in those waters.
Then, in 1964, author Vincent Gaddis cemented the idea. In an article for Argosy magazine titled The Deadly Bermuda Triangle, he listed incidents of vanished ships and planes, claiming that this triangular region was uniquely deadly. Gaddis later expanded on the idea in his book Invisible Horizons: True Mysteries of the Sea. But it was Charles Berlitz in the 1970s who truly turned the Bermuda Triangle into a cultural phenomenon. His book, The Bermuda Triangle, became a massive bestseller, translated into dozens of languages. Berlitz blended fact with speculation, suggesting possibilities ranging from Atlantis to extraterrestrials. His vivid storytelling captivated the public imagination. Suddenly, the Bermuda Triangle wasn't just a sailor superstition, it was a global mystery. Building the myth. The timing was perfect. The 1960s and 1970s were decades of exploration and mystery. The space race, UFO sightings, fascination with the paranormal. Audiences were hungry for stories that blurred the line between science and the supernatural. The Bermuda Triangle became a fixture of television documentaries, tabloid headlines, and late-night talk shows. Countless books, films, and even comic books referenced its strange powers. It became a symbol, a place where the known world ended and the unknown began. But how much of this was based on truth and how much was storytelling? To find out, we must look at the stories of the ships and planes that never returned. Flight 19, the Vanishing Squadron. On December 5th, 1945, just months after World War II ended, 5 Navy torpedo bombers took off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida on a routine training mission. Their call sign, Flight 19. The squadron was supposed to practice bombing runs over the Bahamas, then return home. But shortly after the mission began, radio transmissions grew frantic. The lead pilot, Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor, reported that his compass was malfunctioning. The men grew disoriented. Everything looks strange. Even the ocean looks different, one voice said. For hours, the Navy listened as the squadron flew further off course, desperately trying to navigate back. The last words picked up. It looks like we are entering white water. We're completely lost. Then, silence. Search plans were scrambled. One of them, a massive PBM Mariner carrying 13 crew, also vanished without a trace. Wreckage was never conclusively found. In total, 27 men were lost that day. Flight 19 became the cornerstone of the Bermuda Triangle legend. The idea that trained pilots with functioning aircraft could simply vanish electrified the public. Later investigations suggested navigational errors, worsening weather, and fuel exhaustion, but the lack of wreckage and the chilling radio calls ensured Flight 19 would forever be shrouded in mystery. USS Cyclops, the Navy's greatest non-combat loss. During World War I, in March 1918, the USS Cyclops, a massive Navy collier ship carrying manganese ore, departed Barbados bound for Baltimore. She carried over 300 men. She never arrived. No SOS, no wreckage, no survivors. The Cyclops was 542 feet long, the largest ship in the US Navy at the time. How could something so big simply disappear? Theories abounded. German U-boat attack, a structural failure, storms, even mutiny. But nothing was ever proven. President Woodrow Wilson said of the disappearance, "Only God and the sea know what happened to the great ship." The Cyclops remains the single largest non-combat loss of life in US Navy history and one of the Bermuda Triangle's most enduring mysteries. Star Target and Star Ariel. In January 1948, a British passenger aircraft named Star Target vanished en route from the Azores to Bermuda. Radio contact was normal until it wasn't. The plane simply failed to arrive. No distress call, no wreckage. Almost exactly a year later, in January 1949, another plane, the Star Ariel, disappeared between Bermuda and Jamaica. Again, no trace. Both aircraft were operated by British South American Airways. Both disappearances under nearly identical circumstances fueled suspicion. Was it weather, mechanical failure, or something stranger? In January 1921, the schooner Carol A. Deering was found run aground on the coast of North Carolina. Her sails were set. Food was prepared in the galley, but her crew, gone. Lifeboats were missing. It was as if the crew had vanished mid-meal. Though technically outside the Triangle's classic boundaries, the case became entwined with the legend. Some suspected piracy, others suggested mutiny. Still others pointed to supernatural explanations. The ghostly abandoned vessel remains one of the eeriest maritime mysteries in history. The pattern of disappearance. What unites these stories is not just loss, but absence. Absence of wreckage, absence of survivors, absence of
explanation.